Hi, this is Dr. Connie. Welcome to our podcast, Mind Your Health. And today I want to talk to you guys about why you are part of the cause of autoimmunity. And I know many people get triggered when I say you're the cause, but I'm going to explain what that means today. So first, let me start off by stating that there is no amount of exercise, diet, supplementation, herbal medications, or even meditation that you can truly do to heal without your enrollment. Whether you're struggling to get better or trying to figure out what's going on with your health, you're always part of the cause of the equation. When I state this, some of you do get triggered, so let me explain. You're unique and one of a kind. Okay. There is nobody else that can do you better than you can. Yet we think that somehow what works for other people will just as well work for us. And whatever that doctor recommends for us, it will somehow miraculously cure us. And I know many of you guys are struggling going in circles. You want to trust this doctor and that doctor because they should know. And then you're puzzled when it doesn't work for you and you're kind of scared to let this idea go, but then you're too, you feel like you don't know enough to really dismiss some experts when they tell you something, when they don't really know you and your conditions, your private life and what you struggle with the most, right? And whether it's a diet, supplement, or a proven medication technique, if it's helped one person, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll help you the same way because there is always a variable that's different and unique to you. And I just really need you to always remember that because we all respond differently to autoimmunity and alters us differently due to our inherent genetic, environmental, lifestyle, and experiences that we all bring to the table. We have to consider all of it and its influences and its outcome just the effect of all of those combined in our lives because it's different for every single one of us. You may experience stress a little differently. I may have a different coping mechanism. There's always thoughts and then there's always the feelings that it stems up that triggers our behavior. And so you have to understand that everything that we're being recommended by the experts, it really is subject to our thoughts and our feelings that gives it the influence that it needs to whether to follow through or not and to cause the outcome. And your beliefs about whatever it is that you're implementing, whether it's going to work or not, really does matter because that's what's going to really result in your life. If you believe it's going to heal, guess what? It's going to have a healing effect. But if you believe it doesn't, you're doubtful, but you're doing it anyway, guess what? There's that polarizing effect. You're diffusing its potential for healing. And it's impossible to have an exact blueprint for health in autoimmunity. And this means that we don't have the exact cause and effect solution because the cause itself contains so many variables. Okay. This is something I've always known. This is something that I fumbled with. This is something that most doctors won't even admit. They'll just tell you because they feel like they know more than you, which they do. But you know your body the best. You know your life and you know what you're willing to change and you know what you won't be willing to change. So you really have to be able to vocalize exactly what your needs are and what you're needing help with and be open to the possibilities and always be open to possibility of you healing yourself because this is all about self-empowerment. It's not about somebody else healing you. No amount of diet will heal you until you are self-empowered to heal as well. Okay, so let's talk about foods, for example, right? When we consider the foods and its impact on autoimmunity and our overall physiology, we think about food sensitivities, right? Food sensitivities cause inflammation, right? Because if you have too much sensitivities to it, there's a delayed response where there can be cross-contamination and cross-reactivity between proteins. So we can't always be absolutely sure of which specific foods we are sensitive to. And not to mention the fact that the chemical properties of foods change depending on how you cook the foods as well as your sensitivities, depending on how you cooked it or whether you cooked it or not. But it's also met with your digestive, metabolic, and detoxification enzymes and chemicals and your capabilities within the body and your state of health at that time. So also consider the genetic and stress influences, like I mentioned, that you are subject to at any given moment. And did I mention your thoughts and feelings? Your state of being when consuming the meals is also important, because food is an external object that needs to be chosen by us and eaten, digested, assimilated, and eliminated, right? If at any point along that spectrum something is just not right, we have an issue, and it's impossible to nail down exactly what it is without confusion and chaos. This is why nobody really truly understands autoimmune conditions and how it plays out for each and every one of you. There is no one size fits all. So the moment somebody wants to give you a specific diet, you should always question it. Autoimmunity in a nutshell is a confused immune system that is attacking its own cells, thinking that it's a threat. The problem with this tendency to attack is that it destroys its own tissue and its competence. When it does, the host, you, are left with a surge of symptoms that potentially can limit your ability to function. There's a war inside of you, and if you think you had no part in it, then you must think again, because to relinquish the healing power is to depend on others to figure out how to heal your autoimmunity and wait for things to happen to you. But when you begin to see what the cause, or when you begin to see that the cause side of the equation always involves you, then you realize that you have absolute power over your autoimmunity if you choose to exercise your power. That's really what this episode is all about. Autoimmune leaves us feeling confused and tired about the cause, but really it's the ecosystem we've created that needs fixing. Nobody else can fix it for you, because the answers to the problem is always within you, not outside of you. And foods need to be chosen, right? They need to be eaten. It's a behavior. And then broken down, digested, assimilated, and eliminated. Medications are prescribed, but still needs to be taken. Compliance, that's your behavior, broken down by your body, digested, assimilated, and eliminated as well. And exercise needs to be chosen, whether it be yoga, Pilates. Are you going to run? Are you going to do the cycle or the treadmill? Needs to be chosen, and then it needs to be practiced, and then it gets metabolized, detoxified, and assimilated into your body as a motor signal. And meditation also needs to be practiced, learned, metabolized, detoxified, and assimilated to have an effect in the body as well. There are all concepts until you decide to practice and experience them. The way you experience them is unique to you, and it's unique to me. We are all different. So your genetic potential, experience, thoughts, behavior, and feelings all will dictate the result it will provide for your body and your life. Then there are so much more nuances to your life and all the things that I'm talking about. So as a clinician, I understand the variables involved in solving for X, but just as algebraic equations need rearranging and keeping things equal on both sides of the equation, you must remember to keep the golden rule and apply it as you solve for your X as well. You are always the cause of the equation, or cause part of the equation. And there are many variables when solving for your autoimmunity. So keeping this in mind keeps you on your toes about doing and being your part to ensure that you keep things neutral and take responsibility for how you experience your autoimmunity. You guys, I just want to say it can flare up at any given moment. So it's in your best interest to always practice prevention. And this is why I have the alkaline method for autoimmune programs at different levels. So I encourage you to check out the various levels, because there is no one size fits all approach to treatment or healing autoimmunity. It starts with you at the foundation, and cultivating the self-awareness is the first step towards healing, holistically healing once and for all. And there is no going around this barrier of yourself. There is no more looking outside of you for answers to your solutions that you hold within. I can tell you that healing is a journey. And the more you can learn about yourself, the easier it is to solve for X and have absolute clarity over why, what, and how you will do what you do from a place of being who you need to be to have optimal health that you desire, because it's that simple and it's that possible. So I want you to check out the link below and see if any of our alkaline method for autoimmunity works for you. So click the link below. I want to invite you to get on your path to healing. Sign up today. You won't regret it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll